What do you do when someone insults you? Do you feel a flash of anger, a sting of shame, or the urge to defend yourself? In moments like these, the world seems to expect a reaction. It is as if the words, sharp and sudden, demand a reply, an explanation, a battle. But what if instead you did nothing? What if you allowed the insult to drift past you as leaves float by on a quiet stream? This is not weakness, nor defeat. It is the beginning of inner peace. In a small village, nestled between mountains and rivers, lived a young merchant named Akayo. Akio was diligent, honest, and eager to prove himself. He ran his shop with care, greeting each customer with a smile. Yet, beneath this smile, Akio carried a burden. He feared the opinions of others. Every careless word, every critical glance weighed on him like stones in his pockets. One morning, as Akio swept the threshold of his shop, an older merchant walked by. The man paused, looked at Akio's display, and let out a mocking laugh. "Your wares are cheap," he scoffed. "You'll never be successful selling such rubbish." Akio felt his cheeks burn. His mind raced. Should he protest, argue, or correct the man? The insult echoed in his chest, threatening to ruin his day. That afternoon, Akio visited the garden at the edge of the village, seeking solace among the plum trees and winding paths. There, he found old June, the retired general who spent his days tending bonsai, shaping each tree with patient hands. June was known for his wisdom, and villagers often sought his counsel. Akio approached June, still troubled by the morning's words. "Master June," he said softly, "today I was insulted. My heart is heavy. How do I respond when someone tries to wound me with their words?" June looked up from his bonsai, his eyes calm and clear. He gestured for Akio to sit beside him. "Let me show you something," June said, picking up a cup of water from his workbench. "This cup," he began, "is your mind. When it is undisturbed, the water is clear. When it is shaken by anger or pride, the water becomes cloudy." He set the cup down and with a gentle motion dropped a small pebble into it. Ripples danced across the surface before fading away. "An insult is like this pebble," June said. "It disturbs your mind only briefly if you allow it. But if you swirl the water, if you keep thinking about the pebble, the cup never settles." Akio watched as the ripples faded, the water returning to stillness. "But Master June," he protested, "should I not defend myself? If I do nothing, don't I seem weak?" June smiled. "Strength is not in the noise you make, but in the peace you keep. The river does not argue with the stones that fall into it. It flows on, clear and untroubled. The mountain does not answer the wind's howl. It stands, silent and steady." June then reached beneath the bonsai table and pulled out a cracked pot. "See this pot?" he said. "It is old, flawed, and imperfect. Yet it holds water, nourishes the tree, and gives life. When someone points out its cracks, does the pot break? No. It remains, serving its purpose, unconcerned with opinions." Akio sat in silence, absorbing the lesson. The garden was quiet, the air gentle with the scent of plum blossoms. A single petal, loosened by the wind, drifted down and landed on the surface of the water in June's cup. It floated gently, undisturbed by the pebble below. In this moment, Akio understood. The hurtful words were like pebbles, brief disturbances in the vastness of his mind. If he resisted, if he argued, he only stirred the waters further. But if he let the words pass, the water would settle and peace would return. The next day, Akio returned to his shop. The older merchant walked by again, his expression smug. This time, when he made another cutting remark, Akio smiled softly and continued arranging his wares. He did not reply, nor did he let the insult take root in his heart. Instead, he focused on his task, feeling the quiet strength of the mountain within him. Days passed and Akio found that the power of the insults faded. Customers returned, drawn by his gentle presence. Akio's reputation grew, not because he fought with words, but because he embodied calm. The villagers noticed his change. Children watched him with wide eyes, learning that silence could be mightier than anger. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Akio visited Jun in the garden once more. "Master Jun," he said, "I have learned to do nothing when insulted. My heart is lighter, my days more peaceful. But sometimes, the memory of old words returns. How can I let go completely?" Jun handed Akio a smooth stone, polished by years spent in the river. "Hold this stone," he said. "Feel its weight. Imagine each insult as a stone you carry. If you clutch them tightly, your hands are full and your spirit is burdened. If you let them go, drop them into the river, they are carried away and your hands are free." Akio walked to the riverbank, the stone in his palm. He opened his hand and let it fall into the flowing water. The stone vanished beneath the surface, joining countless others carried by the current. Akio watched the ripples spread, then fade, leaving the river calm and clear. In that golden moment, as the last light touched the water, Akio felt a deep sense of release. He understood that insults were only stones, brief, passing, and powerless unless he chose to hold on to them. By letting go, he found space for gratitude, for kindness, and for peace. From that day, Akio no longer feared the words of others. He greeted criticism with a gentle smile, responding to gossip with quiet dignity. He learned that true strength was not in winning arguments but in mastering himself. His heart became like the river, open, flowing, and free from the weight of stones. So, when you are insulted, remember, the power of words lies not in their sharpness, but in your response. You can choose to do nothing, to let the pebble fall, to let the water settle, to drop the stone and watch it disappear downstream. In this act, you claim your peace. The wisdom of the Stoics is simple and timeless. What matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond. By doing nothing in the face of insult, you choose serenity over turmoil, strength over reaction. Let your mind be like the quiet river. Let your heart be the unshaken mountain. When the world throws stones, let them fall and be carried away. You are not defined by others' words, but by your own calm. In stillness, you find your unbreakable self. This is the lesson of the cracked pot, the flowing river, the gentle pedal on clear water. When insult comes, do nothing. And in that nothing, you find everything: peace, resilience, and the freedom to be yourself.